structure. If you take a look at their body shape, rather than just their colorings, you might notice they look very much like a small giraffe, a travel-sized giraffe, if you will, which is essentially what they are. On the left, these kind of large, kind of orangish animals up on the hill, these are bongos. Now, both males and females of this species have horns. They use those horns that kind of tilt back and towards their bodies to help protect them from the bushes and leaves here in the forest, pushes them away from their face as they make their way through. Now, both the okapi's stripes and the vertical stripes on the bongo are for camouflage. They kind of help them mimic the patterns of light and shadow falling through the branches and leaves here in the forest. There's a black rhinoceros all the way in the back there on the left, kind of right behind those rocks. The black rhino is the smaller of the two species of rhino that we might be able to see out here on the reserve today. The horns on the front of their heads are made out of keratin. There's one coming up pretty close to the truck, so let's get over here, kind of sleeping over there by the wall. Now, keratin is nothing special. That is the same material that your hair and fingernails are made out of. The black rhino has a very pointed upper lip. You can just barely see it over there. They'll use that upper lip to get a better grip on their food. It is prehensile. Prehensile meaning they can grab things with it like we use our fingers. On the right, this large black and white bird is a saddle-billed stork. Saddle-billed storks can stand up to 5 feet tall. They have a wingspan that reaches up to 9 feet long. That is the same length as the canopy that's right above your heads. They also mate for life. Coming up ahead on the left, I can see some very large, kind of pale animals with those vertical white stripes as well. These are greater kudu. There's one all the way back there by the bamboo. Now, these must be female greater kudu because only the males of this species have horns. They also have those thin vertical white stripes that help them blend in, just like the bongo. They can stand up to 55 inches tall at the shoulder. Now, we had some great luck there in the Little Aturi Forest. Everyone came out to say hi today. That's awesome. Let's head into the Safi River Valley now and hope that our luck continues. Now, the Safi River Valley is home to the aquatic animals that live on the reserve. They like to spend their time in and around the water, so keep your eyes peeled down there. In the water on the shore is going to be where these animals like to hang out. Now, this area, this waters around here, is the territory of the Nile hippopotamus, so keep your eyes peeled. I see some ripples and bubbles over there that might indicate there's one underneath there. They kind of look like floating rocks while they're underneath the water. They can hold their breath for up to 8 minutes at a time. They spend almost their entire day submerged in the water. You might be able to see... That's okay, Hakuna Matata, no worries. We'll continue in the river valley. See, oh, I do see one walking along the bottom of the water there to the left. You can just barely see her down there. Just walking across the bottom of the water there. That is a Nile hippopotamus. Now, like we said, they spend almost their entire day submerged in the water. Make sure we remain seated at all times, please, friends. Everyone does need to be on a seat. Everyone does need to be sitting down on a bench. Thank you. They'll actually even sleep underneath the water. They have a reflex in their brains that lets them stay down there for 8 minutes, come up to take a breath, and then sink right back down to the bottom to continue their nap. Their closest living relatives are cetaceans. That's dolphins and whales. Now, these large gray birds on the island, there's some there, there were some back there as well. Those are pink-backed pelicans. They get their name from during their mating season. Their skin turns a bright shade of pink that can be seen straight through their feathers. They are colonial nesters, meaning they nest together in groups called pods that can contain up to 500 pairs of pelicans. There's another Nile hippopotamus down there by the waterfall. Again, kind of looks like a floating rock down there. And then on top of the waterfall, I can see some Nile crocodiles over there, kind of underneath the bridge. A group of Nile crocodiles is called two separate things depending on where you see them. On land, they are called a basque, and in the water, they are a float. Nile crocodiles are opportunistic hunters. What this means is that instead of leaving their location to hunt their prey, they will simply remain right where they are and let the prey come to them. They can eat up to half of their body weight in one feeding if they so choose, and they have incredibly powerful jaws that can bite straight through bone. But those same jaws can also be incredibly gentle. Before their eggs hatch, they will take those eggs in their mouths and roll them around in there to get that hatching process started. They're also pretty good parents. Now, coming around this corner here, I can see that the vegetation is changing. There's fewer bushes and trees. It's becoming a lot more open. That means that we are headed into the savannah. Now, here in the savannah, there is not much for animals to hide behind. So instead of relying on camouflage to protect themselves from predators, animals that live out here will instead rely on their speed. So this area is home to some of the fastest animals that live on the reserve. Coming up on the left, on the right around this corner, these small tan antelopes kind of over there in the clearing are springbok. Springbok are the smallest antelopes that live on the reserve. They get their name from their amazing jumping skills. They can leap 6 feet straight in the air or 13 feet forward. There are some giraffes kind of up ahead in the clearing on the right. Those are Maasai giraffes. A group of giraffes is called a tower. Now we can tell these are Maasai giraffes based on their spot patterns. They have very jagged edges to their spots with a lot of white space in between them. That differentiates them between other species of giraffes. They are the tallest land animals, giraffes are. They're about 18 to 20 feet tall on average. They eat for about 20 hours a day. They'll only sleep for about 30 minutes at a time. On the left here, all the way back in the cave, we're going to get a little bit closer as soon as the traffic up here kind of clears a little bit. There are some African wild dogs. There's some more kind of way in the back by the trees and the rocks. African wild dogs are also called the painted dog due to their beautiful coat that kind of looks like it's been finger painted on. Each one of those coats is unique to each individual animal. You can see them lying back in that cave there to the left. They're incredibly successful hunters. They are successful in about 90% of their hunts. That is about triple the success rate of lions. On the right, these large gray animals are wildebeest. We've got a few animals coming up, so I'll tell you all about them in just a second. The ones on the left, all the way back there, the brown ones lying down, are sable antelope, and then of course some Hartmann's mountain zebras also on the left. The sable antelope are the official emblem of the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. They get their name from that beautiful brown color on their coat, which is also known as sable. The wildebeest here get their name from the Afrikaans word meaning wild beast. They can form herds of up to 1.5 million and migrate distances of over 1,000 miles in a single migration. And the zebras all the way back there are Hartmann's mountain zebras. They have smaller hooves than other species of zebras, which makes them excellent mountain climbers. But as you can tell, they do just fine on flat land as well. A group of zebras is called a dazzle. Coming up on those giraffes again on the right. Now you might catch a glimpse of their tongues. Their tongues are about 18 inches long and very dark in color, kind of purplish black. They also have a thick mucus substance on them. Now the color and the mucus both help protect them from the sun. Since they spend so much time eating, about 20 hours a day like we said, they want to make sure that their tongues are protected from sunburn. You can see some over there that are kind of smaller than the rest. Now they're not quite babies. Baby giraffes are 6 feet tall when they're born. Mother giraffes give birth standing up, so the very first thing that a baby experiences when they enter the world is a 6-foot drop straight to the ground. Now that drop does help them take their first breath. Coming up ahead, I can see some animals with really large horns all the way kind of back up there on the hill. Those are Ankole cattle. Now those horns of theirs might look heavy, but they're actually mostly hollow on the inside. They have a honeycomb-like structure in there that is filled with blood vessels. They can pump their blood through those blood vessels, to help them cool down. There's some more of them kind of in that group of palm trees coming up on the right. And you can just make out some more wildebeest on top of that hill over there. We are also coming up on another giraffe on the left. Now the horns on the top of a giraffe's head are actually not horns at all. They are called ossicones. Ossicones are different from horns in a few key ways. The first one is that they are formed from bone that ossifies, they're formed from cartilage, rather, that ossifies or turns into bone. So that's kind of where they get their name from. They're also covered in skin and hair. The male okapis also have ossicones. That is one of the ways that we know they are related so closely. And even though those giraffes' necks are so incredibly long, they actually only have the same number of neck vertebrae that humans do, which is 7. Their vertebrae are just very, very large. All right, that's been some great luck we've had so far. Let's head deeper into the savannah, see what else we can find. For this time of day and how hot it is amazing that we are seeing all these animals. So you guys are really, really lucky today. I bet our luck will continue as we head around here. Let's see what we can find. Now you might be able to see some monkeys all the way up there kind of by the palm trees. Those are mandrills. Mandrills are the largest species of monkey. It is the same animal that Rafiki from The Lion King is. Those bright colors on their faces will actually get even brighter when they are excited. Now this is elephant territory around here. We don't quite see any here, but they are migratory, so Hakuna Matata, no worries. We'll see if we can catch them at a good spot in their migration up ahead. Now elephants do live in herds. The herd is made up of the females and the juveniles, the young ones. The males, when they reach maturity, will break off from the herd. They'll live on their own, or maybe with one or two other male elephants. The herd is led by the matriarch. She is the oldest female elephant. She knows where all of the good watering holes and spots to eat are, so the elephants will follow her. So hopefully as we head deeper into elephant territory up ahead, we'll catch them at that good time in their migration. Pits, I can see some elephant footprints on the ground, as well as some tusk marks in the red clay there to the right. Two great signs there might be elephants nearby. Elephants like to dig their tusks into the red clay and eat it. I do see some elephants up ahead. Let's get a little closer. They'll eat that red clay to get them some minerals that they can't get in their regular diet, just like how sometimes humans might eat vitamins. We might just be able to catch a glimpse of her here over the ridge. Yep, right over those plants there. That is an African elephant. Now we can tell these are African elephants based on the shape of their ears. They're kind of shaped like the continent of Africa. That helps distinguish them between other species of elephants. Let's head deeper around the corner here. I did see some up ahead, so let's see if we can get a better view. Elephants' tusks are made out of ivory. Unfortunately, they are poached for that ivory. It is one of the leading causes of their population decline. So if you'd like to help protect elephants, a very easy way for you to do this is just to make sure that you never purchase a souvenir that contains any ivory. Yeah, we can have a pretty good view of some elephants up ahead. They're going to be on the left side as we make our way through these waters. You can also just catch those Ankoli cattle over the ridge there to the right. Now you might notice some elephants flapping their ears around. This is one of the ways they cool down. Just like those Ankoli cattle have blood vessels in their horns, elephants have blood vessels in their ears. Getting those ears flapping around gets the blood and air circulating and helps them cool down. You can just make them out here over those bushes to the left. As we make our way around this pond with greater flamingos, we should be able to get another good view of them. So again, getting those ears flapping as the blood and air circulating helps them cool down just a little bit. I call that ear conditioning. Thank you. See, sometimes trucks don't laugh at that. Can you imagine? Now on the left here, like I said earlier, those are greater flamingos. Greater flamingos are the largest species of flamingo, as well as the most pale pink in color. Now you might see some kind of gray and fuzzy ones there. Those are the younger ones. That's what they look like when they're young. Now you may wonder where they get their color from, since they're gray and fuzzy when they're younger. Well, it comes from their diet. They eat a diet of brine shrimp, which are rich in a mineral called beta-carotene. It is the beta-carotene that gives them that signature pink color. You can get a really great view of these elephants here on the left as we make our way around. You might be able to catch them with that dirt and mud. They love to fling the dirt onto their backs. Helps kind of protect them from the sun, acts as a natural layer of sunscreen for them since they do have pretty sensitive skin. It's kind of like their natural skincare routine. Can just catch another one over the ridge there on the left, as well as some goods that have been confiscated from poachers over there. Unfortunately, like we mentioned, elephants are targeted for their tusks. Rhinos are also targeted for their horns. And like we mentioned before, rhino horns are made out of keratin, which is nothing special, the same material that your hair and fingernails are made of. One very important service that is provided on reserves like this one is just to make sure that animals have a safe place to live where they don't have to worry about threats like poaching. Coming up on the left, these hills with the trees on them is where cheetahs like to hang out. So keep your eyes peeled. I do see one kind of way in the left corner over there, down by the tree and the bushes way in the back.
I saw it.
can just see that cheetah way back there, kind of lying down all the way in the back left corner there. Now, cheetahs are the fastest land animal. They can run 0 to 60. Oh, there's one right there too. There's 2 of them actually. This is awesome. Let's get closer to them. Now, cheetahs are the fastest land animal. They can run 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 3 seconds. I have not seen them this active all afternoon, so this is really cool for you guys. They are diurnal, that means active during the daytime. Most big cats are nocturnal, active at night. Another way cheetahs are different from most other big cats is that they cannot roar, but they can purr. You might have seen those kind of black stripes on their faces. That helps them see during the daytime, kind of like natural sunglasses. It'll reflect the sun rather off of their faces to help them see a little bit better while they do hunt during the daytime. It's a very similar concept to how some athletes, like American football players, might put black streaks under their eyes to help them see. It's just like the natural version of that. I do see some white rhinoceros up ahead on the right side, kind of all the way back in that clearing, but hopefully we're going to get a little bit closer to them in a minute as we head around the corner. There is a baby over there. Now we can tell those are white rhinos by the shape of their mouths. Their name comes from the Afrikaans word wijd, meaning wide, again referring to the shape of their mouths. They are good for grazing. If you remember, the black rhino had that very pointed upper lip that was prehensile for picking things up. White rhinos instead have the wide mouths. Now this brown animal lying down with the horns is a bontebok. The bontebok has an amazing conservation story. In the early 20th century, they were poached for that beautiful coat of theirs that has kind of a purple gloss to it in the sun. A local farmer noticed that their numbers were dwindling and decided to protect the ones in his backyard by putting up a fence around them. Little did he know he had just fenced in all 17 bontebok left in the world. And he saved an entire species just by trying to protect what was in his own backyard. There's a few thousand of them in the world today, the bontebok, and all of them, including that one we just saw, comes from that population of 17. I absolutely love that story because it shows that a species can really return from the brink of extinction and be successful, and that what you do in your own backyard can really make a difference in the world around you. Again, we are coming up on those white rhinos. The baby is up ahead, going to be on the left side. You might notice, oh, on the left, on the left. The rhinos are on the right. The warthog is on the left. That is a warthog all the way back there, kind of sleeping up by that tree. Looks like a fuzzy rock. Now they'll use their razor-sharp tusks and their hooves to dig those burrows that you see in the ground. They'll sleep in the burrows with their tusks facing out to protect themselves from predators. Now again, we are coming up on those white rhinos. They are in fact on the right. You might notice their ears tilting around and towards us as we make our way around them. That is them getting a better listen at us. They have excellent hearing, but they have terrible eyesight. They might not even be able to see us. They can only see about 10 feet in front of them. That was the bontebok back there you could see as well. And these eggs here are ostrich eggs. Ostriches, being the world's largest bird, lays the world's largest eggs. Each one of those eggs weighs about 3 pounds. There is an ostrich up ahead, a few of them actually, going to be on the right side of the truck. Now ostriches cannot fly, but they can run about 40 miles per hour. They'll use their wings to help them steer when they run at those top speeds. These are female ostriches, we can tell because of their gray feathers. That was a lovely little farewell committee we got from those ostriches there here in the savannah. We have exited the savannah. We're about to enter the Magadi Glen. Now the Magadi Glen is where the warden's house is. And in his yard and on top of his car and wherever else their little hooves can carry them are the Nigerian dwarf goats. It is those tiny hooves that make them excellent climbers. As you can see, they will climb wherever they can. They are incredibly adorable. They produce milk that is very nutritious and of high value. So the warden and the villagers will not only use that milk in their diets, they will also sell it up in the village for an extra source of income. So they get some extra money, the goats get a safe place to live, and we get to look at those adorable Nigerian dwarf goats. Now that sounds like a win-win all around to me, friends. Now just like the warden protects the goats in his backyard and that farmer in the 20th century protected the bonteboks in his backyard, there are many ways that you can protect wildlife in your own backyards as well. One of the easiest ways for you to do this is to simply reduce, reuse, and recycle. By recycling paper products, you can help protect animals that live in the forest, like the little Aturi forest that we passed through today. Many of these animals are unfortunately threatened by habitat loss due to deforestation, that's cutting down trees. So, by recycling paper products, reducing your use of paper, or even going paperless when you can, that's going to go a long way in protecting the lives and homes of these animals. Other animals such as elephants and rhinoceros, even animals that we didn't see today like gorillas, they are threatened by habitat loss due to mining for minerals that are used in electronics such as cell phones, laptops, and cameras. So if you'd like to help protect those animals, a very easy way for you to do that is to make sure you're recycling your old electronic devices. If you got a new phone, go ahead and recycle the old one. And you might just be helping to save the home of an elephant. Now, unfortunately, that waterfall does mean we are approaching the warden's post, which means our safari is coming to an end here soon. So make sure you start gathering up all those personal belongings. I'll get you on your way to your next adventure here in just a minute. Once again, my name is Carolyn. If you have any questions, you're more than welcome to head up to the front, and I will do my very best to answer them. If I have any wilderness explorers on board today, you have been riding on the Simba one. That's Simba like the lion, and the number 1. If you'd like to see more animals today, I encourage you to take the safari again later in the day. No two safaris are ever alike. You never know which new animals or new behaviors you might be able to